The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on another edition of Bucklebomb Entertainment Live. I am your host, going solo tonight. I'm your host, Sarah, at Syracuse. All right, so let's get right into it. We picked, I guess, depending on your opinion, whether it's a good day or a bad day for doing a show. Out of the WWE world, we have lots of releases today. All NXT, about 10 of them total. We'll go through them with you. Some more known than the others. We have, of course, John Laurinaitis coming out saying it's due to budget cuts. We know how that goes, though. So some of the releases include Raylan Devine, Draco Anthony, Vish Kanya, Mila Milani, Blair Baldwin, and some of the bigger ones, which are surprising. We have Harland, Dakota Kai, Malcolm Bivens, and Dexter Lumis maybe being the biggest of all of them. Dexter kind of being, I guess, a surprise one. Wasn't one of my favorites, but I know a lot of people did like him. He was involved in many big storylines, especially when Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory were around. He was involved with, The Way. A lot of storylines with, her name escapes me at the moment. She was in The Way with Candice LeRae. Indy Hartwell. Okay, there we go. Sorry, it took me a minute to get that there. Malcolm Bivens, Dakota Kai were kind of in the same situation. They notified WWE they weren't going to be renewing their contracts after talks had happened. Malcolm Bivens had notified him, I want to say back in February, maybe a little earlier than that he was not planning on resigning. They worked a deal, though, short term, but they told him that Diamond Mine wouldn't really be, I guess, big roster, have much TV time for a couple years. So that kind of eliminated them from contention, really, for being anything major. Bivens opting to not resign and getting released today. Same kind of thing with Dakota Kai. Initially, I thought, we kind of see NXT 2.0 going in this direction of maybe their females being more of a diva ever type of situation. Well, now we see that actually she notified them that she wasn't going to resign as well. So she, I guess, up and got released. Where she goes, who knows? Impact has a good women's division, as does AEW. What I'm wondering is because we haven't seen Tegan Knox sign anywhere, or whatever her new name is that she'll be going by, her new ring name. Could we see a Team Kick reunion? I mean, I certainly hope so. I think they were really great together. Injuries aside, that would be great to see them together. I certainly hope we do. Bear with me one moment. I'm just trying to see what her new name is going to be. Nixon Newell. That is her current ring name on the Indies, which she'll be going by. So maybe we see Nixon whenever Dakota Kai will change her ring name back to what it used to be before WWE, or if she goes with something new, do we see a Team Kick reunion? I don't believe Team Kick is copyrighted by WWE. I feel like we would have heard that. If so. Harlan, to me, is also one of the big ones. I can't believe WWE released so soon. I believe he's been training 6 months to a year. Trainers notifying WWE that he's just not progressing the way they want. So And I guess I'm assuming they're not really sure how much more he can progress. So they released him instead of trying to teach him more, which is a shame. He had the size. He was dubbed as the next Brock Lesnar. Parker Bordeaux, we'll see if he tries to get back on in the NFL. He was a football player in college. Or we will see if he still stays with wrestling. Stay tuned for that. Impact Under Siege. We've got some match announcements for Impact Under Siege 4 so far. They may not be announcing it till TV show tonight on Access. By the way, if you haven't had a chance to go back and watch Rebellion, I was there. Great pay-per-view. Great show. Definitely check that out. Main event was Josh Alexander versus Moose for the World Impact title. Josh Alexander winning, of course. So this is the lineup we have right now for Under Siege. We have the Impact World Championship is going to be Josh Alexander versus Ishii. It could be interesting. Let's see if they build that up a little bit. Under Siege is Saturday, May 7th. Really surprising they're going 2 weeks in between pay-per-views. So we'll see how much build-up they can really get or what they do with that. We have the Impact Tag Team titles. Will be the Briscoe brothers competing against Violent by Design, who will be putting up the titles. We have 2 women's title matches again. One of them is a rematch, the AAA Reina de Reinas Championship. This time it's Taya Valkyrie defending against Deonna Purrazzo in the rematch. She's trying to win that title back. And, of course, she will be on AEW Dynamite next week for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship against the interim champion Mercedes Martinez. The Impact Knockouts Championship will be Tasha Steelz, who retained at Rebellion. She will be taking on Havoc. So that's gonna be a great match. And then we also have Bullet Club versus Honor No More as another match. So we got 5 matches so far announced for Under Siege. Should be a great show. Great show indeed. Let's see what else we got for you today. Going back to AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, as many of us suspected and confirmed today, Sammy Guevara did hurt himself in that match. It was on that 630 splash from the ladder where he didn't quite land right. He's hurt his back and his neck and his shoulders. Reportedly nothing serious. He's hurt. Probably not missing any time. If he is, he's probably just not wrestling this week, but maybe just getting TV time next week. The next Broken Skull sessions was announced today. Stone Cold will be hosting Cody Rhodes on the next episode. Kind of got to wonder, is he going to be talking about, how much of AEW is he going to bring up? We saw it was brought up with Chris Jericho when he was on Broken Skull sessions. I imagine they'll do mostly WWE stuff, probably, when he was there the first time around. Sure, they'll probably touch up on leaving WWE, what he did before starting AEW, starting it with Tony Khan, and then probably a little about, leaving, what was going on with that. But that should that's probably one of the highest rated ones. I know the one Jericho's up there. This one's probably going to be watched by a lot of WWE fans, a lot of AEW fans. Should be good. Stay tuned for the announcement of when that will debut. Bret Hart. Interesting news on Bret Hart today. It was announced his deal with WWE It's just a merchandise deal. So as of right now, there's no word yet on whether it prevents him from appearing on AEW television. It's reported that AEW just assumed that he couldn't be on TV. Will they bring Bret Hart in for the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which is when the Owen Hart tournament finals are? We know Martha's going to be there, Owen's wife. Will we see Bret Hart? We know CM Punk, FTR, they've been throwing little tributes at Bret Hart. Will he show up? Will he be FTR's manager, beyond the one time at Big Time Wrestling's indie show in a couple months? That's June 8th, I believe. Also announced today, if you want to get into special managers for FTR, it was announced today FTR is going to have another special manager. Give me 1 second. I will pull up where it is. Sorry, I gotta go back into. Bear with me, I'm just trying to pull up the right. Well, anyways, Mick Foley is going to be doing a special guest for FTR. They will be manager for them. Yep, here we go. Okay. It is for PWF, Saturday, May 14th, at York Comprehensive High School in York, South Carolina. So York, South Carolina, not only are you getting FTR at one of your indie shows at the high school, you're getting Mick Foley. That's going to be great. Good for FTR for getting Mick Foley. Mick Foley, great for stepping out and being a manager for a special show. As well as Bret Hart, he deserves the credit there. And we'll see what happens with that. So Gangrel did an interview with WrestlingInc.com podcast, I believe this was coming from. They talked about what he had left and what he wanted to accomplish as a manager. Came out and said there's nothing really left he wants to accomplish as a wrestler. He wants to stay respectable, but the same thing, he wants to be a respected trainer, someone that can put together good matches, teach people. Good for him. He says he doesn't want to hang around too long and be, people say, he stuck around way too long. I believe Gangrel's been around the business 30 years. Good for him. He's still going out there putting on matches. And he's going to, be producing new talent. And what we've seen, he's done a pretty good job. So, continuing with that Gangrel. One last little bit of news bits here today, just because these releases took us all by shock today. We have, you'll ever guess which wrestler wants to do stand-up comedy next? We've seen Dolph Ziggler. He's been doing comedy for a long time. We also have Mick Foley. He does some shows at comedy clubs. I myself, along with a couple of friends, will be going to one of his shows in June, on June 7th, Mick Foley's birthday, as well as one of my friends who's going with me. Shout out to CJ. Your birthday, we're going to see Mick Foley. Going to be a good time. Madcap Moss is one of the latest talk about doing stand-up comedy. He says he loves making people laugh. He hasn't quite done anything concrete to, specifically say, hey, I'm going to be doing a comedy show in such and such state. Probably later in life, maybe more towards the end of his career, or when he gets later schedules, or maybe while he's still recovering from injury. We'll see that. But as of right now, no, he's not doing any comedy tours yet. We couldn't see it. He's apparently a really funny guy behind the scenes, likes making people laugh. So we will see that. Big news also. If you haven't seen it, one of these shows, possibly a pay-per-view, the WWE is doing at the UK is called Clash at the Castle. Really good. Really interesting name. I like it. Clash at the Castle. I'm just trying to see if there's any more releases before we go off air. Doesn't look like it, so we should be good. Hopefully we're good for today. One other bit of news. We got some new shows that are going to be coming up for Bucklebomb. We're kind of redoing some things a little bit here coming into spring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5 shows total lined up. Of course, we'll still have Bucklebomb Live. That'll be done on Tuesday or Wednesday nights, depending on the week. What everybody's availability is, as mine will be less on Wednesday nights during the summer. So you could see mostly Tuesdays, mostly Wednesdays, but we'll let you know. Every Sunday we're going to post the week schedule ahead of time. It'll be our pinned post on Twitter, Facebook group, whatever. Of course, Ring Around the Jabroni, which we have moved to every other Monday. That is coming up this coming Monday as well. Will be a show. That's our wrestling debate show. We have making its return. We haven't done one of these in a while, but it will be making its return Thursday next week. That is Acquired Taste. I'll have a new co-host. That's our show. You've seen it on Twitter. You've seen it on Facebook. Maybe some of your friends do it. I know our good friend of the show, Vinny Ratlock, does it. But it's, try the new, weird, interesting foods. We'll try it live for you. Of course, the replays will be available on the YouTube channel. A new show debuting probably late May, early June. I'm starting a new job, so once I have my schedule down more set with a new job, we can give a start date for that called Weekend Getaway. It's going to be, a bunch of us, whoever's available, talking about food, music, movies, anything but wrestling. Getting away from the wrestling for the weekend, or at least that day. So we'll be talking about all kinds of things. That'll be probably, hopefully, in every other weekend, maybe once a month type show. We'll see. And then, of course, also with the new job, I'll be available a little bit earlier in the mornings. So we're going to have something called Wake Up with Wrestling. We'll talk about probably mostly be me on a solo show. We might have guests once in a while. We're going to talk about what happened the night before, results for wrestling, any big news stories that have developed overnight, late night, early morning. That you'll probably see. That's going to be a show that might fluctuate on time week by week, depending what's going on. The show for that or schedule for that will be posted as well. Every Sunday. But you're looking. I say wake up with wrestling because it's going to be, 6 a.m., somewhere between 6 and 7 a.m. start time. Yeah, that early. Sorry, West Coast fans. If you work in the graveyard, you'll be able to tune in, listen to me talk. East Coast fans, wake up maybe when you drive in, pop it up on the YouTube. Just listen. Don't watch and drive. We don't want you getting any accidents. But details will be coming out with that. I start my new job May 16th, so exciting times for sure. We'll be posting, descriptions of the new shows coming up soon. We'll be talking about that leading up into it. Of course, we got Ring Around the Jabroni, Bucklebomb Live, and Acquired Taste re-debuting for Season 2 next Thursday. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We hope you have a good night and a good weekend. Take care, everybody.